Hello everyone. Apple has become one of the world's top corporations, generating billions of dollars annually, which is a common information that everyone knows. However, there is more to this Tim Cook-led tech giant than what we know. There are many facts about Apple that many of us don't know. So, without further ado, let's get into the top 10 interesting facts about Apple. Number 10. Smoking near Apple computers voids the warranty. Be careful with your cigarette. Apple has refused to repair the computers of consumers that were found to have tar residue from cigarettes, declaring it a biohazard for its people servicing them. According to a report in The Consumerist, Apple told two consumers that their warranties were void because their Macs showed signs of damage related to smoking. Number 9. Steve Wozniak is still an Apple employee. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak set up the company in 1976 with Steve Jobs in his garage. He no longer actively works for Apple, but is still officially an Apple employee and receives a stipend estimated to be worth $120,000 a year. Number 8. In December 2015, the FBI attained the iPhone of one of the shooters in an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack that killed 14 people in California. As part of the investigation, the FBI attempted to gain access to the data stored on the iPhone but was unable to penetrate its encryption software. Lawyers for the Obama administration approached Apple for assistance with unlocking the evidence, but negotiations soon broke down. Apple is so particular about its customers' privacy that it even refused the FBI when it approached Apple to unlock a terrorist iPhone. Ultimately, the FBI dropped the case because it was able to penetrate the encryption software on the iPhone without Apple's help. Number 7. In 1986, Apple started a clothing line that failed completely. You might have never heard of it as the project failed miserably. They called it the Apple Collection, and the idea was far from modern, sleek, minimalistic and timeless design that makes Apple's products the sensation they are today. Number 6. In order to raise enough money to buy parts and build the first few orders of the Apple I, Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen van, and Wozniak, then an HP employee, sold his HP 65 scientific calculator for $500. Those born after 1990 might be surprised that a mere calculator would raise any kind of capital. But back in 1976, a scientific calculator will cost as much as a laptop, and the HP 65 was in fact marketed as the smallest programmable computer ever. Number 5. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple in 1985. Despite being the co-founder, Jobs was in a bit of a power struggle with CEO John Sculley in the 80s, which eventually led to his resignation from Apple. Jobs went on to take on more successful projects, including Next Computers and Pixar. He rejoined Apple in 1996 after Apple bought Next, and much of the tech used in Next made its way to Apple products. Number 4. The iPad does not have a calculator app. Apparently, Jobs was not happy with the calculator app on the iPad even weeks before its release in 2010. Jobs told developers to either create an app that looked good or ship the iPad without a calculator app. And due to lack of time, the developers settled for the latter. The iPad has not had a calculator app ever since. Number 3. Apple sold 849,450 iPhones per day in 2018. Throughout the late 2000s and early 2010s, Apple hardly had any competition when it came to smartphones, with no other option being close to the sophisticated UI of the iPhone. Apple was selling its smartphones like hotcakes. However, the presence of Android is hardly felt even now in the US market and many Western countries, where people use Apple because Android does not get much attention there. Number 2. Apple scored big time with the iPod. The creator of the iPod, Tony Fadell, is an engineer, innovator, designer who had originally offered the device to both Real Networks and Philips. Both companies turned it down. This could be considered as one of the major events in the history of Apple. Before we get onto the number 1 fact in our list, Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Thank you for your support. Number 1. Apple originally had 3 founders. The third co-founder, a man named Ronald Wayne, had joined co-founders Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, but he left the company only 12 days after it was founded. He sold his 10% share for only $800 and got an additional payout of $1,500. If Wayne had stayed with the company, his shares would be worth today around $60 billion. That's it from us today. We will meet you in another video with another interesting topic.